Our second strategy in this mini series of strategies to use during a recession, and if you haven't watched the ones before, then go back and watch episode 1 and episode 2. But our second strategy is an exchange with delayed completion. Hi, I'm Flegg, founder of Ethical Property Partners, the franchise for sophisticated property investing in the UK and now further afield as well. Now, sometimes, we covered vendor finance in the last episode, sometimes the vendors have a mortgage. And if they have a mortgage on the property, unless you're willing to pay that mortgage off, now sometimes it's £2,000, £4,000, £5,000, and you may well be happy to pay off their mortgage and then do vendor finance. But if they've got a £100,000 mortgage on their property, you're probably not going to want to put in £100,000 to pay off their mortgage for them. And that leaves you with a bit of a dilemma. If you don't want to buy it with conventional mortgage, buy-to-let finance or commercial finance, depending on the property, you really need to secure that property somehow permanently, but the vendor can't lend you the money and you can't raise conventional finance. How do you do it? Exchange with delayed completion is a great way of securing a property now, making cash flow from it, and then knowing that you can definitely buy it in the future. And we actually did this on a 28-bed hotel some years ago. What we did is we talked to the vendor, we agreed that we would exchange now on a purchase price that was above market value. We've paid a monthly amount for those years, we've got many years left to run on it, but we operate that property as if it was our own now. We've actually done significant works to it, we've added value to the property, which means that the whole time the property's going up in value, but we've fixed the purchase price for that point in the future when we will complete on the property. Now, interestingly, we make all of our exchange with delayed completions assignable, which means that we don't actually have to complete ourselves, we can assign it to someone else. So let's say you exchange on a £500,000 property today, and in 8 years' time, you've got the completion date set at £500,000. Now, you may or may not be paying off a bit of that purchase price as you go along. You may be paying off £500 a month, £1,000 a month, or you might just be paying some interest. But the point is, in 8 years' time, when you come to complete on that property, the property is hopefully worth more than £800,000, or you've saved your cash flow from it, and now you've got a big chunk of money to put towards the purchase. However, if you choose not to buy the property, that's fine. You can just assign it to someone else. So you can put it on the open market, have someone else buy it. And here's the great thing. Let's say it's worth £700,000 at that point. £700,000 is the sale price, but the vendor only receives £500,000 and you would make the difference in the middle. So there's a great opportunity to not only secure ongoing cash flow at very little outlay, because all you're really paying are your own legal fees, your own purchase costs, any taxes that are applicable, and then you're making ongoing cash flow, and then you've got a nice lump of money if you choose to sell at completion time, or you can then buy it on conventional finance because you've got a nice chunk of equity in the future. So exchange with delayed completion is a great opportunity, it's a great strategy when two things are certain. One is the vendor can't give you finance, because my philosophy is I always want to own the property in my own name at land registry if possible. Ownership is 9/10 of the law, as they say. And so I want all my properties in my name on land registry if possible. And when I say my name, my SPV's name, my limited companies, or other people's limited companies if we're doing joint ventures. In essence, out of the vendor's name and into a name that I'm controlling. Now, if that's not possible, the second best option is to actually exchange contracts and have a definite exchange of contracts date whereby we know we can complete on the property and it's certain what price and what date we're able to buy it. Now, if it's a long way in the future, I would encourage you to get a limited power of attorney for the vendor. So have the vendor sign over the rights to selling the property to you. So when you get to that point in the future, if you can't find the vendor or if they start being a bit silly about the capital growth and how much you're making, you already have a limited power of attorney to sign the contract on their behalf. This can all be done through the lawyers, but it just makes it that much more watertight, that much more certain. So really, really important, guys. If you can't buy the property outright now, exchange with delayed completion is a great option, so long as you definitely want to buy the property in the future. And if you're not sure about that, if the purchase price is a bit high, or you're not sure about the area, you're not sure about the long-term monetization, then I'm going to tell you in the next video which strategy to use. But exchange with delayed completion is a great tool to help vendors to move on, to escape negative equity situations. Sometimes they owe more than the property's worth. That's great. You can service their mortgage for them over time and then buy it from them once there's enough equity in it to actually buy it. So exchange with delayed completion also works well for negative equity situations. If this is your first time watching us, be sure to click the subscribe button. Be sure to click the notification bell. And if you've got any questions about EDCs, exchange with delayed completions, pop them in the comments box below and I will happily answer them. Happy investing, guys.